Okay, I want to warn and preach against Peter Ruckman. I'm sorry, I feel like I have to do this, so I'm just going to do it. I want to really seriously warn against Ruckmanism and Peter Ruckman, and I know that he's not really a popular thing, but I do know I'm under the impression, at least, that there is a um, independent Baptist YouTube channel called Old Time Sermons that posts a lot of Peter Ruckman stuff, and it's true. I mean, he's kind of an interesting guy in some of the material that he puts out. But if you're hearing me, man, I'm not sure who you are. Old Time Sermons 2000. Sometimes I post your stuff. It's great. But Peter Ruckman, dude, I would not be posting his stuff. Seriously, he was really. This is just common knowledge, stuff off Wikipedia, and you can look into it for yourself. But Peter Ruckman, it's true that he was an IFB preacher and KJV onlyist and all this stuff, and you're starting to think, okay, he he checks the boxes, but there's so many other weird things about this guy, dude, that are seriously concerning. Okay, it's true that he attended Bob Jones University. Okay, he graduated with a PhD from Bob Jones, but I'm telling you, there's still some stuff that you really need to be. Don't be listening to him. I'm serious. Don't do it, please. Before he became a Baptist, he was starting to hear voices and talk to a Catholic priest about becoming a Catholic priest because he was hearing voices. So he said this was because of his time in Zen Buddhism, and quote, he was uneasy, unsettled, and full of demons, end quote. Okay. Now, I mean, that doesn't disqualify a person, but I'm just trying to give you some background, okay? But then he becomes a Baptist preacher, graduates from Bob Jones University, and gets a doctorate, all right? And he becomes a pastor at a Bible Baptist church in Pensacola, Florida. So now he's really deeply ingrained in you know IFB culture, IFB ministry, all right? But you might think, okay, well, so he had a conversion, everything was orthodox, everything was fine. No, no, everything was not fine. Peter Ruckman um, married 3 times. He had 10 children, okay? And his son was a professor who murdered his 2 sons and then killed himself. That's extremely bad fruit. But wait, there's more. Um, he he believed in a antinomian form of eternal security. He taught that even if a believer apostatized, he would still be saved. He would just lose his rewards, not his salvation. So you can live in complete atheism and go to Las Vegas and get prostitutes every day, and you're still going to go to heaven. You just might lose that mansion in heaven. You'll end up living in a normal house. That's the kind of, I'm telling you, I'm not misrepresenting him to make an Arminian advantage. I don't think like that. I try to bring the best of both worlds from the Wesleyan and Calvinist side. This guy is just to be avoided. Mark and avoid this guy, Peter Ruckman. Don't post his stuff. Mark and avoid this guy. Ruckman once said that he would have joined the Ku Klux Klan had they not been anti-Semitic because he, quote, agreed with everything else they say. Listen to this. Peter Ruckman wrote a book in 1997 called Black is Beautiful. Okay. Peter Ruckman wrote a book in 1994 called Discrimination, The Key to Sanity. What in the world? What in the world? Obviously a white supremacist, obviously a vitriolic, hateful racist against blacks. He spends an entire book in 94 called Discrimination, the Key to Sanity, and then reverses his position apparently, or augments it in 97 called Black is Beautiful. Why even write books on this? Why even spend time writing books on this? Why not point people to Jesus? Why not do a soteriology book? So this goes to show how unfocused and how distracted this man was spiritually. You know, an old word for mental illness was distraction. It's called being driven to distraction. This was a distracted man. This was a distracted man. I do not recommend him whatsoever. And please do not listen to Peter Ruckman's sermons.